This is Ekman Fine Art Project Lesson, Christmas Tree Ornament Noel Bell Part 2. Okay, here's some items that I got from Hobby Lobby. I've got gold paint, I've got silver paint, and I've got some glitter, gold glitter, and this glitter already has glue in it. So I put it in my little palette that I also got from Hobby Lobby. Okay, here's my sculpture. I'm going to paint this. If you want to leave it white, you can. You don't even have to look at this second half of the video. They look nice white too. But I'm going to paint my gold paint on carefully around all the detail that's on this bell. The detail that I'm talking about obviously is the type that says Noel and all these little snowflakes. I'm going to go around those carefully with this paint. I'm using a number 2 brush and it's a pointed tip, and I'm just going to carefully go around all the type and the snowflakes. If I get some gold on that, then I'll just use my white paint and cover it, or on the type I'm going to use silver paint. But I'll just go around all the letters and all of the snowflakes using a wider brush on the bottom, and I'm going to paint that. This gold paint covers pretty good. I'm going to go over top of this with glitter anyway. But if you want to add another coat, get a little more even, you can, especially if you're not going to put glitter on it. You might want to just leave it gold. Wash my brush out in that water there. Now I'm going to dry this before I do the next step. Now the next step, I'm going to use my silver paint, and I'm going to paint over the letters Noel on this bell. I'm using that same number 2 brush to carefully go over Noel. Again, I'm going to cover this with glitter too. So that type is in relief, so you want to get the sides too, especially if you're not going to add glitter to it. Glitter will pretty much cover those sides, but I'm going to paint it as though I'm not going to add glitter, just so you can see how it looks. Going over all the letters, and then we'll dry that too. Now I've got all the letters painted and I got it nice and dry. Now I'm going to use some glitter on here. Got my brush nice and clean. I'm just going to paint this glitter that's already got glue in it. Go over it. I haven't used glitter before. I've never done it in my life. So I'm just kind of winging it here. to see what kind of results I'm going to get. Hobby Lobby has a lot of different kinds of glitter and glue for glitter. It's really a great resource for tools and materials for Ekman method, especially for something like this where you use a multimedia type of application to our cast paper sculpture. Now I'm going to experiment with some of the other glitter that I have here. I'm going to try going over the gold glue glitter that I have with this gold glitter that I picked up in Hobby Lobby. There you can see the box that I'm using here. Now I'm just going to squirt a little more of that glued in gold glitter. I didn't go over my whole bell with that before. I was just trying it on the bell to see how well it covered. I found that it was a little less opaque in terms of covering the gold paint that I have than I wanted to do. So I'm going to paint it on. And then I'm going to go over top of that with my sprinkle glitter. It's got kind of a salt shaker top to it. And you can see I've got this covered part way with the paint. Now I'm going to wash out my brush, and I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, but I kind of thought through how I wanted to do this. So obviously if you sprinkle glitter on this, it's going to go over the piece and then it's going to go everywhere else. So I'm taking a sheet of just 8.5 by 11 plain print paper, and I'm going to fold it in half. This will make kind of a trough and a place to catch the glitter that comes off my bell, and then I can save that glitter that comes off. It has two caps, so you take off one cap, now you got a salt shaker, and you can sprinkle it on that glitter that's already on there. If you just want to use glue, will hold glue or another kind of glue, fabric glue, I like that too. It really holds good well, and you can see it covers really well. You just sprinkle it on, and then I'm going to do this in stages, because obviously it's going to have to dry between. I'm going to tap that excess off onto my sheet of folded paper underneath. You can see how sparkly that looks, and it does cover any imperfections you have. Really looks nice. The video doesn't do it justice. I'm going to dry that before I go on and get a little more excess off that shaker top. And then I'm going to remove that top. And now that glitter that's on that page of paper, it's folded. I'll carefully make that trough to slide the glitter back into the container. That way I can save most of it. Put my lids back on so I can put it away. I'll need that for the rest of my bell when it's dry. While that's drying, I'm going to do the holly detail that's going on the top of my bell. So these are my leaves. I'm going to bend them. They have kind of a little character. They bend a little bit on the real holly. There's my leaves. I'm going to use some paint here. I want to paint the leaves and the little berries. So these are the different colors for my palette. This is kind of a light green, kind of a yellow green Liquitex acrylic that I'm going to put on my palette, and then I'm going to use a very small brush. I've noticed on the holly leaves there's kind of a lighter color that shows the veins. I'm going to use some glazes here, not just with the paint, but with some glitter, from that glue glitter. So I'll paint the veins, and I'm also going to paint around the edges of the holly leaves too. Okay, I have my light green painted on. I'll do that with all of these. Now I'm going to move to my darker greens, and I'm going to use a dark green and a lighter green to produce sort of a glaze on this. Okay, let me move my palette around so you can see what I've done here. So I kind of mix the two on there and paint around my yellow. I just noticed that those holly leaves have a lot of color in them, and I want it to be pretty. I want it to look like a holly leaf, look like a Christmas tree ornament, a custom Christmas tree ornament. That's what you get here. You make your own. You make it the way you want to make it. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You can do it the way you want to do it. You look at holly leaves. I just went on the internet and I looked at some pictures of what holly leaves look like, and berries and stuff, and then I, did what I wanted to do with it. I'll paint all these leaves the same way. I'll go over it probably again with my light yellow to get those veins in there. But I want it to look shiny and glossy and have a lot of color, have a lot of glaze color on there. And I can bend them a little bit and create some character that way. Just using my small brush, I'm going to paint these just the way I want them. Okay, I've got the front side done. I'm not going to spend as much time with the back. I'm just going to paint that green. We don't want to leave it white. People are going to look behind it and say, oh, he didn't paint the back side. Or they'll do that on yours. These make great gifts too. People really love the fact that you spent some time making a gift for them. I encourage you to do that. You can even customize it by putting a name or a date or whatever on these. It's your Christmas tree ornament. When you're done with it, it's going to be yours. It's not mine. I just gave you some little bit of materials and instruction on these, but they're fun to do. We've done the bear and the snowman for years, and people love them. You see, I painted a little glitter on there too, some of that gold glitter. I just painted it on the surface of that. You can see it. It's a little more transparent, but you can see it sparkles. And then you got it glazes and now I'm going to paint the berries, the little holly berries. I'm going to take a dressmaker pen and lift them out of here. I'll just poke them. Hold them with that pen. And I'm going to take some red paint. This is that Liquitex paint, acrylic paint I have in my palette there, and I'm going to just paint the berry all the way around. I won't worry much about that hole that the pen makes. I'll just set it inside this little box I have, let it dry. And I'm going to do that with every one of these little berries. Seems to be easier to hold it, to poke it. I've got them burnished, I've got them round enough anyway. So with my number 2 brush, it might be a number 1 brush, it's pretty small. It's got a flat tip to it. I'm just going to paint it around there and drop them in. I'm going to cover those with glitter. So each one, paint it, let them dry. Okay, there's my Noel bell. It's all covered with gold glitter. This is Julep glue, and this is really a powerful glue. It's really for gluing glitter and beads and things on fabric, and you can get that at Hobby Lobby. Got to open up the tip there to squirt a little bit out into my palette. I'm going to paint the Noel type I have here with this glue. And then I'm going to cover that with glitter. Paint all those letters. Okay, I got them all painted. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the gold. Only this time I'm going to use silver. Just sprinkle it on there. Knock off the excess. That gold is all dry, and I can flake any silver that's still sticking on there. And you can see how sparkly that looks. On the star ball Christmas tree ornament that we've done, I didn't even paint with acrylic first. You might look at that video. I just painted that Julep glue on, and then I used different glitter. I'm going to touch up here where on the edges of this type where I want some more glitter, and then I'll just put the glitter right over top of that. I'll use my same brush. I'll pick it up and I'll put it on there, or I'll sprinkle it on. But I want to get more glitter on here on the relief edges and on the top where I don't have the bonding that I want. I guess some of that glue was maybe a little dry. So do some touch up here. You also move some of that glitter around with the glue. I'll just sprinkle some more on. You can see on the back I didn't get all of that gold finished on the back of this, but I'll finish that too. So now we got gold glitter and silver glitter on the type. There's some white glitter that can be added to those snowflakes just thinly, and it'll add a little color to those snowflakes too. Okay, there's my trough, and I'm just going to put that glitter right down into that container again. That way I can save. Glitter gets all over everything. Okay, I'm going to try something different here. I'm going to put some glitter in my palette. I'll put some red and some green glitter from my glitter box. Now I'm going to squirt some of that Julep glue right on top of my red glitter and my green glitter. This is for, obviously the red is going to be for the berries on my holly, and the green for the leaves on the holly. So when you mix these together, the glue and the glitter, it's kind of like that gold glitter that already has the glue in it. Now you can There's one I already did. I experimented first. I'll find that same hole and I'll, oops. Now you want to have a lot of these dressmaker pins to do this, because what we want to do is let that glitter dry on that bead without disturbing it. So the stem of that pin can keep the bead out of the way of getting disturbed, the glitter being disturbed on it. So you want to kind of round it off on that, and then we'll just set it right on the edge of that little box. And I'll do that with every one of these little berries. That'll look nice and sparkly. Christmas things should be sparkly, right? So now I'm going to paint some of this green glitter on my leaf. You can see I got a little gold on there, but I'm not sure if it happened by accident or what, but I liked it, so I want to put a little green on there, and I'll do this a little bit more transparent. You can see I got more glue than I got glitter. The glue makes it shiny and the glitter makes it sparkly. And I'm going to do that with all the leaves. Okay, here are my holly leaves. I have them all painted the way I want them, and I have the glitter on them just the way I want them. Now what I want to do is join them, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my glue, that Julep glue, which is a real powerful glue. I'm going to load up these holly leaves right in those spaces where you see there is nothing there between the stems. I'm going to load glue up there, but I'm going to move my paper towel out of the way and just do it on my table. And then I'm going to lay my little berries on there and glue them together too and join the whole thing. Okay, now there they are. I've got 7 berries on the holly leaves. I've kind of bent them up forward to be in kind of a convex shape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the string, the hanging string, on this bell where the hanging loop is. So I'll insert it there, put a lot of glitter and things in there, so I clean that loop out. Now I'm going to tie it. Put a little knot in here. Now I have it tied. Now what I've decided to do is take this glitter ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby. I've got it measured out to be, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches, 10 inches maybe. And I'm going to cut just a V out, just a little decorative end to the ribbon. Then what I want to do is cut it in half. There's my ribbon. So I've cut it in half, and now I've made kind of a bow on the two halves. So kind of hide where the cut is in the middle. I'm going to glue those together with the Julep glue. I'll put them together like this. I'm going to glue that right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. That Julep glue is really a good glue. I mean, it glues fabric. It glues a lot of things together. It's a little more powerful than the will hold glue. A little stronger, a little thicker. And it's really excellent for doing this kind of thing, gluing different multimedia pieces together. So I'm going to glue that, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So wipe off my fingers, wipe off the extra glue there. And then I'm going to glue this side. And it's going to look like a little bow that I put on here with the holly leaves attached. And I'll use that Julep glue for the holly leaves too that I've already put together with the Julep glue. I'll put a little dab of glue here too. That little hole plugs up. I might have to open it up. There we go. Squeeze it a little harder and I got it. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of fold one end onto the other and stick them together. Now, the next thing I want to do is glue these two halves together. So I put a little dab of Julep glue on one of them, and then I'm going to pick the other side up and stick it down on this. So it forms a bow, and I have the little decorative ends there on the ribbon. I'm just going to lay it down like this. This is simpler than tying it, and it's cleaner, it's easier. You get some nice, you don't get folds in it, and you don't get wrinkles. Now I got a little strip there that I'm going to lay right over top. Put a little glue on the back side of the ribbon here. So I want to fold it like that. That'll give me a nice clean bow, and it'll fasten right there. So I'm going to put a little glue there on each side. A little on the back of my bow. And then I'm going to fold these sides over. they're going to want to lift up. So I'm going to resolve that by putting some paper clips in there to hold it. And push it down a little bit. You can see a little glue is seeping out. I can wipe that away, but these paper clips will hold those ends down until that glue sets up. And when that glue sets up, those ends are going to be in there. They're not going to come loose. If you have a piece of 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch foam board, then you could pin that with dressmaker pins. But this works pretty good. Just anything to hold it. So I've got these paper clips in place. Now all I have to do is clean up the excess glue here and then dry it. And there's my bow. So we'll let that dry. Now I've dried it, and I'm going to take those paper clips out of there. If I have any glue underneath that little tie strip, I just want to open that up a little bit so it kind of puffs out. Looks a little fluffy. Now I'm going to put some julep glue on the back of that finial. I want to glue the ribbon there and the holly with holly berries there on the back of the finial. That'll make the hanging string come up in front of them. But if you don't want the string to come up in front, then you can attach the ribbon and the holly berries on the front of the finial, which will hide the finial. So you're either going to show the string if you put it on the back, or you can hide the finial if you put it on the front. I may do that on another one. I may attach it to the front. But this time I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to put some dressmaker pins on this ribbon, in this ribbon that is on the glue that I put on the side of the bell, so the ribbon kind of hangs a little bit in front. Just designing it that way a little bit. It's just the way I'm doing it. You can do it the way you want to do it, but that glue will hold the ribbon where I want it to be, and I'm going to pin both sides of the ends of these ribbons down on that bell. And then I'm going to add a little more glue there to sort of attach my berries and holly right there between the finial and the ribbon. That's where I want it. So I'm going to put I'm just trying it here. Now I'm going to put some glue in there. Now I'll attach the holly leaves and berries behind that finial. And then I'm going to put a little more julep glue behind the holly leaves and on the ribbon. And that's finishing it. Now I just need to let it dry. Okay, it's all dry. Now I need to take out these dressmaker pins, and I'm going to use some needle nose. If you try to pull the pin out by the head, you're going to pull the head off maybe. So needle nose, just grab the wire and pull it out. Grab it by the string here, and there it is, your Noel bell. Beautiful. To order the Noel bell or any of our other project lessons and the many Christmas tree ornaments, just go to ekmanfineart.com and click on Ekman Method. And here it is, Learn Ekman Method. So you click there and it'll bring you up to this page, which shows our paper materials, and there's tools and videos, and there's some starter casts. And when you click under the daisy kit, there's our project lessons, and there's all the Christmas tree ornaments. And you can order those. At this point we have 9. And there's the Noel bell. And you'll get a couple of candy canes as well. So enjoy.